Hey everybody, we're here with another review for Pain and Glory, Pedro Almodovar's newest film with Antonio Banderas. And today we're joined by Lindsay
Hey.
and Angelis.
Hola.
And today we're going to be talking about this lovely film. Let's get into it.
No has sido un buen hijo, hijo mío.
But I'll let Angelis go first. What are some general thoughts on Pain and Glory? You guys can also share like how long it's been since you've seen it, because I'm fresh off seeing it in the theater yesterday. But Angelis, what are some general thoughts on this film?
Okay, so I'm from Latin America. I'm from Ecuador, and here it premiered on July. So yeah, it's been a while since I saw it, but I really liked it. I really feel like Almodovar has had these stages of his movies. Like these last films feel more personal, and I really think Pain and Glory is about that. Like it's like a kind of a biopic about himself. Yeah, I'm not gonna go into spoilers, but yeah, it's like
I was wondering that as the film was progressing. I was like, man, how much of this is, because I mean there's definitely some things that could be like stretched a little bit from his actual life.
yeah.
Yeah,
think
I
there's
wasn't
some-
sure if it was like actually based on his life or just inspired by it or what, but
I think it had like some like glimpses of his life. Like
yeah, it
I don't
felt
know.
very personal.
Yeah, it really felt very personal.
Lindsay, since you chimed in, what are some general thoughts on this film? When did you see it? What are some thoughts?
I saw it a little over a month ago. I loved it. It's my first film of his that I've ever seen. And
Really?
I really liked it, but I do think I would have liked it a lot more if I'd seen some more of his work beforehand. Just because this one felt so like personal and like, I don't know, like a capsule of like him as a filmmaker.
For sure.
But I did very, very much enjoy it, and I loved Antonio Banderas' his performance. I thought he was outstanding.
Oh yeah, he was
Yeah,
great.
oh my god, and the cinematography, like just like how everything was shot, it was just so beautiful.
Exactly. Even like from the opening sequence, all the colors and the
The
paint.
colors.
It's
Yeah.
Well,
so
I was going to say
eye-catching.
specifically how this director uses the color red is phenomenal in this film, and it
Yeah.
makes things so like they have so much more weight to them in specific scenes. And yeah, Lindsay, I think it's important that you brought that up, because I know a lot of people, because Roma was available on Netflix for anybody to watch. So I know that was a lot of people's first exposure to Alfonso Cuarón, and that's a very personal film of his, and it would have made more sense, like you were saying, for like tons of people to have watched like all his filmography and then watch this.
Yeah.
And I think this is very similar. I've actually only seen one of his films before, with The Skin I Live In, also with Antonio Banderas.
Oh yeah.
That film is very different from this.
For example, like I think The Skin I Live In, it's like an experimental film from Almodovar, because he usually doesn't do thrillers, you know. He
doesn't?
does these no, he does dramas, and he really talks about his films are very focused on women, on personal fights, on, like inner personal, I don't know, that.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Interpersonal
Yeah.
connections.
Exactly.
But he does thrilling so well in The Skin I Live In. Like I genuinely think
Yeah.
it's one of the most like unnerving films I've
I
seen.
think
It's so
it's
creepy.
one of my favorite Almodovars. But my first will always be Women on the Verge of a Nervous Breakdown.
Oh yeah, I definitely need to see that.
Interesting. He has quite the career. But yeah, if we're talking about Antonio Banderas a little bit more, I just think it's a little bit funny, because I'm not sure if you want to attest to this, Lindsay, but I think like in most of the rest of the world, and most of the people that are like over 35, everybody's like, oh, Antonio Banderas, like he's a pretty good actor, like he's one of our really good actors. And then people my age are just like, oh, Puss in Boots.
Oh my god, yeah. So when we first saw the trailer for this movie, I was like, Antonio Banderas, I love him. And my friend leaned over to me and she goes, isn't he the guy from Spy Kids?
Oh my god.
Oh my god, he's so much more than that. What is wrong with you?
It's just interesting because he's been like a staple in like our culture with Spy Kids and Shrek.
Yeah.
Oh my
and
god.
he's got amazing performances,
He's
but
so talented.
I
yeah.
know for like a lot of the world, a lot of the people in the US, like
exactly, like that depends. For example, in here, like you say Antonio Banderas, and everyone knows him for a lot of his work, like El Zorro and things like that. Like he's very popular. But yeah, I get it why in the US people just know him for Puss in Boots.
Yeah, no, I think this is also, I mean, he's great in The Skin I Live In, but I think this is probably his best performance. And this sort of brings me to the part where we've been doing recently, just talking awards buzz. And I'm going to go out on a limb here and say Antonio Banderas is going to be snubbed. I haven't seen all the performances yet, so I don't mean that like improperly snubbed. I just think he's going to be in the like position 6 or 7 range of the leading actor. How do you guys feel about that?
So the way I feel about Best Actor right now is that we've kind of got 4 locks as of right now, and the 5th slot is so wide open that he very well could be snubbed, but I do think that he's a top contender for that 5th slot right now.
Yeah, I think so too, Lindsay.
But as much as I want him to be, that also means that Taryn wouldn't get it.
Personal struggle, Lindsay.
Personal struggle. I love them both.
But I mean, he's tackling so much.
He's tackling
like,
so
in
much.
His performance.
I agree.
And I think, honestly, I think this might be. Again, we don't want to get into spoilers. We might have a separate discussion for that, just because there's some key scenes that I'd like to talk about because I think they really reshape the movie. But I don't know. There's just something incredible with the scripting of this film, and it's really patient pacing. Yeah, for sure. Because I think in the hands of like a different director, this would be very, very much more like played up in the drama of it, and I think there's one scene in particular. I don't think this is too much of a spoiler, but they're talking about acting, and he's like, good actors have the strength to not cry. Like lazy actors just cry. That's all they do. And I think I don't know. There's something that he's saying right there that's like, good scenes don't have to show like the most emotional, like crowd pleasing moments. Like there can be other things that can be displayed in a different way and still have a bigger payoff.
Right, like you could have quieter emotional moments and they can still be just as impactful as like loud emotional moments.
Exactly. I think that just because this is Almodovar's a very introspective movie, I think he didn't want to go for the melodramatic way. Like he has made melodramatic films, but I think just because he felt this very, very personal, he wanted to go for something more subtle, something more like even kinda sad. Something that hits you and doesn't leave you indifferent when you leave the theater.
I think we have to mention the score in awards category. I don't think it'll get nominated, but it should reasonably be in contention. I don't think it'll be brought up in that regard, but yeah, Angelis was bringing up before, like it is such a phenomenal score. And really matches the tone of the film.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of the score. I thought it was beautiful.
Yeah,
I'm trying to think if there's anything else.
Foreign language.
Oh, this is for sure getting a nod for foreign language.
Yeah. I feel like there's only 2 locks right now, and that's Parasite and Pain and Glory.
Oh, I also will go with the French one. Les Miserables.
Oh, you think?
Yeah, I think those 3 are like the one.
Yeah, no, I'm really hoping this gets some recognition. Angelis, what would you give this out of 10?
I mean, the first time I saw it, I went for a 10, and I think if I would rewatch it today, it would still be a 10 because it really like evokes me a lot of emotions. So I think you have to be very talented to have that, to leave you thinking for days, like, oh, this happened, and I had like this time processing the film, so I really think that deserves a 10 out of 10.
I think that might help a little bit with my interpretation of the film, especially just because how much of a stinger it sort of ends with, and it really makes you thinking about the events that just unfolded in front of you.
Yeah.
I'm probably going to go with like a 7.8 right now out of 10, but that could definitely go up. I mean, I felt very similar to this when I did Parasite. Usually when I'm driving home from the movies, typically I'm a decent ways from my house. And I'll just throw on music or a podcast. And then for both Parasite and Pain and Glory, like it was just silence and me talking like with myself about like what just happened, because it was just so brilliantly put together. But Lindsay, what is your score?
I gave this a 9 out of 10. It's one of my favorites of the year. It's in my top 10 for sure. I was just so blown away by it. And yeah, I would love to rewatch it just to see if my thoughts stay the same or if it goes up. But yeah, especially that ending, I couldn't stop thinking about it.
Yeah.
And then I guess we'll go to spoilers. If you guys want to check that out, make sure to click the other video. If you guys want to check out any of our other reviews, we've recently done Jojo Rabbit, Ford v Ferrari, Parasite, The Lighthouse. Make sure to check all of those out. Thank you guys for listening. Bye.
Buen viaje. Muchas gracias por venir, de verdad.